Hey VC, how's it going? Right, okay, another vinyl tag, this time with questions set by Stunty. I've seen a few of these now. I saw Alex, Motoric 24/7, which was great. Dom, Seeking a Thread was really interesting. I saw Stunty's as well. So a slightly different take on the vinyl tag, so I thought I'd give it a go. So yeah, I think there's 10 or 11 questions, so I've got them all written down here. So starting off with number one. What's your longest vinyl quest? Now, I'm not sure whether this is for 2023 or just in general, but I'm going to talk about this record, which is A Breathtaking Guy by the Dreamlets. Now, this is a song that I first heard in the year 2000. It was on a reggae radio show that I used to listen to, put together by DJ Mark Lamar. And I heard this as part of a Rocksteady show. So that show included music by likes of Alton Ellis, Justin Hines, but then also included this song as well. So the original, it's a cover version. So the original was by the Supremes, that came out on Motown in the mid-60s, I think, as a B-side. But this is they're a Japanese girl group, so a vocal harmony group. And you can tell by the vocal style that they're Japanese, just by the phrasing, and it's absolutely beautiful. Now, I heard it in 2000. I didn't find a copy till 2012. It took me 12 years to find a copy. I got a bit obsessed with this, so literally it got to a stage where every time I went into a record shop, a used record shop, this was the first record I looked for. Every time I went on eBay or any sort of similar sites, again, this was the first record that I looked for. So it took me 12 years. I eventually found it on a Japanese website and got a copy. You can actually get copies on Discogs now, but it's never been reissued, only 500 copies. If you find a copy, buy it. It's wonderful. Number two, what was your best deal from 2023? So I'm going to pick this. This is Scott 4, obviously by Scott Walker. I paid £5 for this from my local record shop. Now, it's not in mint condition, clearly. There's a bit of wear to the sleeve there. You can see that. The vinyl has a couple of light marks, but plays fine. So, but the reason why I'm picking this is because I bought the first Scott album, not this particular copy. I bought it on CD in about 1998. So I bought this one first. About 10 years later, I found this in an Oxfam shop. This is a Scott 2. Just a few years ago now, I bought a lovely copy of Scott 3 from a friend. And as I say, finally, I got hold of Scott 4 this year. Now, in between, I'd never heard these records. So I've literally listened to them the first time when I bought them. So from me buying the first Scott record back in 1998, 25 years later, I finally got to hear the fourth volume, I suppose, of this run of records. A wonderful records, and probably the best of the four. But I say it's only taken me 25 years to hear it. But yeah, a wonderful record. And I say that's probably my best deal from 2024. Number three, what's your favourite album cover? So I'm going for this. This is Chief Commander Ebenezer Obey and his Inter-Reformers band. And as you can see, this is basically a picture of the Chief with a load of goats. Now, I could quite easily have gone for any number of African records. I love the simplicity of the artwork. It tends to be just a photograph of a band or an artist just playing their instruments or standing around chatting, or in this case, standing around with a bunch of goats. Fantastic. Right, number four, show a VC inspired purchase. So going back to when I started making videos, probably about 7 or 8 years ago, there was a channel, Gideon Strumpet, Tim, brilliant channel, showed a lot of Italian film soundtracks, a lot of horror soundtracks, really interesting. I learned a hell of a lot. But I remember one day he showed some Italian prog. Now, I'm not a massive fan of prog, but I must admit, this is an interesting one actually, I suppose, because I can listen to Italian prog or krautrock where the lyrics, where the vocals aren't in English. I tend to find it a little bit cheesy when when you hear bands singing about fairies and, I don't know, elves and stuff like that, which you get with a lot of the British prog. That totally puts me off. But if I don't understand what they're saying, it appeals a lot more. So here's a couple of albums by Leon. So there you go. and this one as well. So yeah, but I picked those up on the back of seeing Tim's video. Number 5, a record that people will be surprised that you own. So yeah, I like a bit of country music. I mean, don't tell anyone, but I do like a bit of country music. And I particularly like Chet Atkins' guitar playing. This is a lovely record. Our Man in Nashville includes him doing songs by the likes of Roy Acuff, a couple of songs by Jerry Reed. Yeah, a really nice record this is. I always pick up Chet Atkins records whenever I see them. They're always cheap. Often see them in charity shops or at car boot sales. Never pay any more than £1 or £2. But this is a lovely record. But of course, Chet Atkins used to be Jim Reeves' guitarist. So the record I'm going to show is this Jim Reeves album. Obviously, you see Jim Reeves records everywhere. You can't give them away anymore. But this is a lovely record. I'm particularly fond of his version of the song He'll Have to Go, which was, of course, a big hit. I'm going to play a little needle drop on that now.
Put your sweet lips a little closer to the phone. Let's pretend that we're together all alone. I'll tell the man to turn the jukebox way down low, and you can tell your friend there with you, he'll have to go. Whisper to me.
Right, number 6, a record that you've seen shown in the VC that you're jealous of. Now, yeah, I'm not particularly jealous of stuff, you know, but I do quite often see records that I think, well, are particularly impressive. So I saw a video by Madam Sin the other day where he was showing off a bunch of skinhead reggae albums, and he showed one record which was the Heptones on Top on Studio One, a beautiful, pristine copy of that. I mean, that is an impressive record, that is. So, but then again, Madam Sin's collection is just full of impressive records. So that's my choice there. So next up, number 7, I think it is. Show a record that you've obtained through trading in at a local shop. So I'm going for this. This is the New York Dolls debut record, original UK pressing, which I got from my local shop, Music Is The Answer. Yeah, I traded just a bunch of just fodder stuff, basically, stuff that you could turn quite quickly. But in return, I got a very nice copy of the New York Dolls debut. Right, okay, so number 8, show some VCLT. Now, I've been really lucky. I've had some great VCLT from friends all over the world. Mazzy sent me records, John Digital Gramophone sent me records. Obviously, the UK, like the likes of James Griffiths, Martin Parrott, John Bellamy, lots of the guys have sent me records, so fantastic. But this is something that came from Ben Costello. Myself and Headley did a pub video with Ben just a month or so ago, and following that, he sent off a big package full of records for the two of us, one of which was this. This is Jonathan Kelly's Outside, Waiting on You, a record that I'd never come across before, but I think as Ben described it, it's Irish cheap heat, and it is. It's beautiful, it's funky, not what I expected, and I'm going to do a needle drop on that.
Working all our lives, getting cold dust in our eyes, spending all the days God gives us underground. We can't live on what you pay. You make a strike so you can say that beggars try to bring this nation down. Is that what we mean to you? I'll tell you what you mean to me. Misery,
Right, I think I'm at number 9. So a band that you wished hadn't released a record. Now, I said before, in particular, I'm not a fan of Pink Floyd. I don't get it at all. It just seems very dull, a bit too serious, if I'm honest. I've never liked the fact that it's one of these bands which people tell you that you should like. That puts me off right away. But I wouldn't say I wish that they hadn't released a record. I just don't understand why people like them. But that's personal taste. I'm sure a lot of people say the same about what I listen to. But yeah, so that's that. So number 11, number 10, number 11, show an album that you'd like to see reissued. Now this was reissued, this came out back in the day, in the sort of mid-90s. This is the Black Crowes with 3 Snakes and 1 Charm. I think it has been reissued in the mid the mid 2000s, perhaps a bit later than that, just in the States, but quite a limited reissue. Yeah, it really needs a proper full-on reissue, and I think with the Black Crowes having reformed, hopefully that will come out at some point over the next couple of years. And finally, show an artist that you're going to spend more time with. So for me, it's not an artist, it's a label, and that's On You Sound. I've mentioned before that I bought a lot of stuff on the On You Sound label over the last few years. You know, in particular, just last year, Creation Rebel put out their first album for decades, I think, which is a great release, one of the best records from last year. So yeah, so I'm going to spend a bit more time listening to records such as Playgroup or Singers and Players. All of their 5 albums are fantastic. And if you want to know where to start with a label, I wasn't too sure, but I would definitely recommend starting with the Singers and Players albums. All of them are great. There's another one. Yeah, or Dub Syndicate. Yeah, I mean, I could just keep showing this stuff, but yeah, loads of good stuff. Big, fat, dubby, bassy, you know, dub music, love it. Produced by Adrian Sherwood. That's quite a famous one there. Pounding System or Across the Red Sea by Ben Sherman. Brilliant stuff. Yep, so that's me for 2024. I'll be listening to more of this sort of stuff, so cheers.
They end up all for free. African blood, till I know.